The next important technique for requirements elicitation is called storyboarding. Storyboards, as used in requirements elicitation, are a portfolio of sketches which briefly tells a story to a production team. So storyboarding is basically a technique which is used to gather requirements of the software, and basically it's a collection of sketches or images through which we can understand the story or the features of a software for the development team. A storyboard is a logical and conceptual description of the system functionality for a specific scenario, including the interaction required between the system, users, and the system. So storyboarding is basically a description of the system features for a specific situation in a logical order. So we can say it's a conceptual technique through which we can model the functionality of the system for a specific situation in a logical order, including the interaction required between the system, users, and the system. And basically this description of the system's functionality will involve the interaction between the users and the system. So now we will see why we use the storyboards. A typical storyboard will contain a number of images depicting features such as menus, dialog boxes, and the windows. So as we have studied that a storyboard is basically a collection of images which is used to show the features based on menus, dialog boxes, and windows. The information of these screen representations into a sequence conveys further information regarding the structure, functionality, and the navigation options available within an intended system. So the purpose to create these screens representation in a proper sequence to deliver some information which will be related to the structure of functionality and the navigation options available in the required software. So basically, by using storyboards, we can model the functionality of a system on the basis of set of images which are logically related, so that we can understand the internal working of the software. So now another reason to use storyboarding is that the storyboard can be shown to colleagues in a design team as well as to the potential users of the softwares, which allows others to visualize the composition of an intended or required interface and offer critical feedback. So basically we're using these images to form a story in order to show or visualize the composition of the required interface to the design team as well as to the users in order to get the effective, important feedback. This method can be used early in the design cycle, where the use of storyboards supports the exploration of design possibilities and the early verification of user requirements. So this method is very useful in very early design cycle in order to get and understand the related requirements of the software. Using storyboards, we can explore the design details and possibilities which can aid for user acceptance and verification of requirements. Now we will highlight the purpose of storyboarding. The purpose of storyboarding is to gain an early reaction from the user on the concept proposed for the application. So the basic concept behind these collection of images which tells us the story that how a system will perform the intended functions. So it is important to verify the requirements from the user in order to start the effective implementation. So using storyboards, we can get the early response of the users on those concepts or ideas which will be proposed for the intended application. Storyboards offer an effective technique for addressing the yes. It is basically efficient tool or technique for addressing the yes or the responses generated by the users. It is an efficient way in order to get the user response after showing him the visualization of the future system.